When something is important enough, you do it even if the odds are not in your favor. It's okay to have your eggs in one basket as long as you control what happens to that basket. People work better when they know what the goal is and why. It is important that people look forward to coming to work in the morning and enjoy working. People should pursue what they're passionate about. That will make them happier than pretty much anything else. I always invest my own money in the companies that I create. I don't believe in the whole thing of just using other people's money. I don't think that's right. I'm not going to ask other people to invest in something if I'm not prepared to do so myself. Really, the only thing that makes sense is to strive for greater collective enlightenment. I say something, and then it usually happens. Maybe not on schedule, but it usually happens. If you go back a few hundred years, what we take for granted today would seem like magic: being able to talk to people over long distances, to transmit images, flying, accessing vast amounts of data, like an oracle. These are all things that would have been considered magic a few hundred years ago. Patience is a virtue, and I'm learning patience. It's a tough lesson. I think that's the single best piece of advice. Constantly think about how you could be doing things better, and questioning yourself. If I'm not in love, if I'm not with a long-term companion, I cannot be happy. There's a silly notion that failure's not an option at NASA. Failure is an option here. If things are not failing, you are not innovating enough. If humanity doesn't land on Mars in my lifetime, I would be very disappointed. I think it's very important to have a feedback loop, where you're constantly thinking about what you've done and how you could be doing it better. I tend to approach things from a physics framework. And physics teaches you to reason from first principles rather than by analogy. I think there are more politicians in favor of electric cars than against. There are still some that are against, and I think the reasoning for that varies depending on the person, but in some cases, they just don't believe in climate change. They think oil will last forever.